It's the Unhappy Hour.
Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way Galaxy, the Solar System, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles to be specific. Hello everybody and welcome to a special episode of the Unhappy Hour here on the TNAM Radio Network here at the New American Media. My name is Brian Engelman and I am going to be your host, as I have been for the past 3.5 years, and I appreciate each and every one of you who has taken the time to check out what we've been up to. And if you're new to the routine, new to the program, new to the Ferris wheel, I want you to jump on board and take a look at what we have going on over at thenewamericanmedia.com. Lots of archived content and interviews. Just check them out. Tons of sports and politics. And over the next year, we're going to really be adding to the rest of the content on there. Spirituality, opinion pieces. If you guys have opinions and you want to become guest contributors and writers for the New American Media, find us. Send us a message on Twitter. Find us on Facebook. I don't care. There are 100 ways to find us. It's a tech-savvy world, and if you can't figure out how to find us, I don't want you on our team. Get it? So learn how to fish. I'm not giving you a fish. Then you eat for a lifetime or something like that. Anyway, I digress. Go on the middle to right side of the newamericanmedia.com and you have our Facebook page. I want you to make sure you like that, or you can do a regular search for The New American Media with spaces in between. On the right-hand side, in the middle of the page for the newamericanmedia.com, we also have our Twitter feed, and our handle is at American_media_. Make sure that you follow us there, because we really do send out different content on our Facebook page, on our Twitter feed, on our homepage, on our YouTube page, everything. It's all different stuff. It's not cookie cutter where one thing goes up and it goes across all formats. You really do get the best experience by checking us out on all these platforms. And the remaining one would be youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. I don't even know where we're at. Almost 2,000 subscribers, almost 400,000 video views, something like that. It's been a hell of a year. Kind of had some exponential growth, and I'll take that. And speaking of exponential growth, the Cleveland Browns are kind of learning how to win. We're 2 field goals away from being 4-0. Think about that for a second. All right, we're 2 field goals away from being 0-4. Whatever. If my aunt had a this, she'd be a that. I know. Okay, fine. But the Browns are sitting at 2-2, and I'll tell you what, when you're 500 and you're not even at the halfway point of the season in several games, what is this, week 5 now, and we've had our bye? Being 500, that's pretty good. You're striking distance, and the Cincinnati Bengals are no longer undefeated. Actually, there's nobody undefeated, so hooray to the 72 Dolphins for popping that champagne cork. Sorry, that's the best sound effect I could have on short notice. But yeah, this division is winnable. That Baltimore Ravens game, I was at it. Should have won it. We get to go up against the Steelers again right now. I like it. I like our chances. I really like our chances. So exponential growth. The Browns are learning how to win, and I don't know if you caught the Tel Aviv game versus the Cavaliers, but man. Cavs looking like the Globetrotters out there with LeBron and Kevin Love and Kyrie, and, when some of the crappiest players on your team are Tristan Thompson and Deion Waiters and Anderson Varejao, you're doing okay. Yeah, that team's going to be something to watch. But anyway, I want to get to our special guest for today's program, somebody whom I have known since he was my opening act at my graduation party. My rock band played in the backyard for, I don't know, the place was packed. I don't know how many people were out there. I'll have Greg maybe give us a crowd estimate, but Greg was our warm-up act. He was the introductory entertainment for the evening with his comedic stylings, but yeah, we've been trying to set this show up for a long time. He's out on the East Coast, so it's been a little challenging, but what I like about today's program is we're doing it the day right after the Browns game, not waiting until our regular program on Friday. We're talking about it while it's fresh, while we really want to kind of be hype about this game. So I want to welcome to the program Greg Moore. Greg, hello, buddy. Welcome to the show.
How's it going? Yeah, that's probably the best gig I ever had. There might have been 10, 15 people there.
Okay, but you were false. That place was packed by the time the evening rolled around.
It was packed. Oh, yeah.
It was kind of insane.
Yeah, the matinee wasn't as big as the night show, definitely. So.
The matinee. Yeah, you kind of had like my aunt and uncle at the table, and you know, like the cousin.
Once the parents left us, our teenagers got crazy.
No, but seriously, Greg and I do go way back, and I won't bore you with all the crazy stories, but make sure you're following him on Twitter at GregTime. That's at GregTime, Greg Time, because there's no better time than Greg Time, except maybe Miller Time.
Right.
But what if your name was Greg Miller? Maybe Greg
I
Miller?
think Miller Time owes me some royalties anyway, so it's cool.
Yeah, Milwaukee.
maybe not.
What are you gonna do?
Maybe not.
But yeah, man, thanks for joining us on the show. This special time,
Of course.
special hour, and of course, I mentioned the Cavs, but and the Buckeyes. Let's not forget about the Buckeyes. Geez, it seemed like every top 15 team lost this past weekend. So now in this system where it's the top 4 going to the playoffs, the Buckeyes are right there. Are they really going to get anyone on strength of schedule? Who knows? But sitting there, if we can run the table the rest of the way and win the Big Ten championship, I'd say we got a shot. But, I'd say we got to start with the Cleveland Browns, Greg.
Browns.
Yeah, pick it up wherever you want, man. What is your takeaway from this game? I mean, there was so much to talk about.
Well, I'm gonna start with the defense. The first half was brutal. It was like watching the Steelers game at the very beginning. Like, I almost turned the game off again. Didn't. But that's Mike Pett's supposed to be known for defense, and I feel like he either doesn't have the right personnel that he needs, or the cornerbacks are not to where they need to be, because it's all blitzing. It's all blitzing schemes and man-to-man coverage. And I don't think right now Joe Hayden or Buster Screen or Justin Gilbert really can cover anybody. So
I mean, we draft Justin Gilbert, number 7. We trade up and say, Josh Gordon's going to be suspended for the whole year. We can't even name another receiver on this team. We don't need Sammy Watkins. Let's give Sammy Watkins to the Bills, who are, by the way, having a good season, and that draft pick might not be as swell as we thought it was when we made the trade. But, Justin Gilbert, I mean, he's not really making the impact we hoped he would have.
No, unless you like watching pass interference on the game.
I do not.
He's not. And, Joe Hayden got that big contract, and I don't know if that went through his head or he looks lost out there. Like, he got burned 2 or 3 times last game. Just good thing our offense puts up, 26, 27 points a game now, which is crazy to hear. But
hey, Hoyer the Destroyer, come on.
Hoyer the Destroyer. Hoyer's Foyer,
Oh, by the way, hey, let's pause right there, because I did mention to you, I want you to hear this. This is Brian Hoyer's message to Cleveland. This just got posted today on dogpoundnation.com. I believe, if I'm looking here, it was posted by Fox Sports Live a couple of months ago. Here, take a listen, if you will. All right?
Before anyone cared about where I played, Northeast Ohio was my home. This is where I ran. This is where I learned to throw an incomplete pass. This is where I ate Arby's for the first and only time. But now, it's time to return to my roots. I mean, sure, technically I was here last year and won 3 games, but that's not really the point. I'm here to mentor that guy who plays linebacker, and that other dude who's supposed to start at tight end. And if Josh Gordon needs a friend, I've got a hug with his name written all over it. I'm here to bleed for this team. Well, technically I did last year, but I'll do it again in 2014 if that's what it takes. Understand, I'm not promising a championship. I mean, seriously, have you seen our roster? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. With the Cleveland Browns, nothing is a given, especially wins. I'm Brian Hoyer, and I'm ready to accept the challenge. I'm coming home. Sort of.
So anyway, I'm still trying to verify if that was actually him or just a spoof, but it's kind of funny. I'll post it.
Well, first of all, sick Arby's shout out. But
yeah, Arby's. We had an Arby's by our high school at Brunswick, right? It was like on the other side of the parking lot. I remember getting hooked up there in the drive-thru. Somebody knew me, and they just filled my bag full of deep-fried garbage, and I was like, yes.
Oh yeah, and a sweet Jamocha shake to go with it.
Oh, the Jamocha shake. Yeah, but you know what? I caught a mess up in this commercial, this little video thing, this minute, because it says first and last time I ate at Arby's, but they showed a picture of an Arby's with all these palm trees by it. Come on, man, that's not Northeast Ohio. Mm-hmm.
That's definitely not.
Just saying, this guy's
That's
a super
definitely
sleuth. No, but talk about Brian Hoyer for a little bit, because we saw glimpses of him being competent to good, a 3-game winning streak last year, then blows out his knee on national TV. That's against the Bills, I believe. And
Correct.
you know,
Thursday night game.
and then we draft Johnny Manziel, and people weren't sure what to make of Brian Hoyer going into the season, but I mean, we're getting very consistent. Maybe not making tons of great plays up until this game. He made a few clutch ones, but he's not making mistakes, and he's playing pretty good quarterback. He's doing a pretty good job back there, right?
Correct. Like Ed, you were saying, very little mistakes. Like he had that's his first interception this game, and it wasn't that bad because it was just like a good punt, anyways. So yeah, I mean, people say game manager. I could see that, but if you're a good game manager, why not? You're putting up points. You're very consistent. And he's making these no-name receivers look good. To be honest with you.
Yeah,
I mean,
we don't know who these receivers are.
No.
So we might have said, is it Joe Juravicius and Travis Benjamin? Joe Juravicius hasn't played for us in 7 years. Oh, then the other guy? Who the heck is catching the ball from Hoyer? Seriously.
Yeah.
Gordon isn't out there.
No, Gabriel, whoever this guy is, Jordan Cameron, I think, plays like 4 snaps a game, it looks like. He's barely out there. Miles Austin, when his hamstring's not hurting him, making 1 catch. And it's got to take accuracy. And he's a very accurate quarterback because half these guys are like 5'8", 5'7". I mean, how are you not out there throwing to Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall every week? So
yeah, they're very little. You watch those plays from yesterday, and that game winner. That is a tiny little dude back there making that catch. Tiny little dude.
I don't think that Manziel could do that right now. And, I mean, there are people calling for Manziel to be playing after the bye week, and I think Hoyer's done great. Like I said, if the defense held up, we could be 4-0. As you said, we could go 0-4 as well. But
well, they're saying that Joe Hayden might be battling a hip injury. And that Gilbert might get some more playing time. I mean, he looks off. He really does, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he does look off. And he's supposed to be a shutdown corner. And he's not shut much down right now. And
if it is a hip injury, that would at least make sense. And then that would force Justin Gilbert into, all right, big boy, we picked you number 7, get in here and play. You can't play like you don't belong in this league. Like, seriously, jump in, play. Next man up.
We got him, and then Buster Screen, and that other guy they drafted, Pierre Dercier. I don't know where he's been, because he was supposed to go really high in the draft. And he fell to the Browns, I believe, in the 5th or 6th round. But there were some projections that had him going like the 2nd round out of Linwood, I believe.
Yeah, Lindenwood, we got him in the 4th round, yeah.
Okay.
And, from a real small school, but I think he even was battling an injury through training camp, and so he really hasn't been at his best, you could say. Right.
Because you think if him and Gilbert work out, they're both 6'1", which is really tall for cornerbacks. So.
Yeah, that's what you want, but we were talking about Johnny Manziel, not being able to play, and some people were making. Maybe rightfully so, talking about Johnny Manziel laughing in the first half on the sidelines. People expect you to be a robot, and everybody wants to piss and moan and complain about something else. And look, I think Johnny Manziel's a D-bag, and I told people, these 2 fans that I had dinner with after the Browns-Ravens game, they came up from Texas. They're huge A&M fans, so therefore they're Browns fans. They came up. They were going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They had great seats. They loved the stadium. They said the energy was amazing. They said, what do you think about Manziel? I'm like, he's a D-bag. I'm like, but he's young, and he's not out there raping people or shooting guns off or, electrocuting and drowning dogs. He's not a scum of the earth dude. He's just a young kid having tons of fun, and now he's rich. Okay, so he's a little D-bag. He has that thing going on for him, but you know what? He's in a situation now where he doesn't have to jump in and try to be the starter. He needs to learn a real offense coming from his system at A&M. I said he's in the best situation possible. He needs to sit back and learn, and when his time's ready, let's see what he's got. But I don't want him out there running around trying to improvise and get his clock cleaned like Colt McCoy did.
Right. And when he came in, I believe, it wasn't the Baltimore game. It was before. I think he came in for the New Orleans game. He looked small out there. Like, I was watching the game, and I saw somebody give him, like, the wrong helmet or something, because he looked really small out there. But, you can't do that in the NFL. These guys are the best of the best. They're the fastest people out there. And defense is so quick, you can't be out there scrambling around. There's no way. He would, as you said, he would get hurt, and he needs to learn a true system. And that's the best way to do it. I mean, Aaron Rodgers sat back behind Brett Favre for, 5 years?
Hey,
Not saying that Manziel's going to be Aaron Rodgers, but that's how you learn.
Hey.
You can't just toss it back out there, you know?
Well, I drafted Aaron Rodgers this year, and he hasn't really been giving me Aaron Rodgers numbers, so who knows? Maybe they did switch helmets. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe it's actually Manziel over there for the Packers right now. No, but I mean, it was funny what Mike Pettin said. You know, like he's cracking a smile. Johnny Manziel is when the defense is looking horrible in the first half. In Pettin's quote, he said, "quote I think you could term how we were playing laughable." You know, talking about him laughing, and then 25-point deficit, NFL's best regular season comeback ever by a road team. And I had the feeling that they were going to do it. Did you have the same feeling?
I did. I honestly did. I joke around with everyone. I say Browns are +3 every week because it comes down to a field goal. Last 4 weeks, it's a field goal, and I just had that feeling that I'm not going to say they were going to come back, but like I said, I almost turned off the game in the first quarter, and then they started turning around the second quarter. There, scored that touchdown right before the half, and they just came out. And certain things came our way, like that Benjamin fumbled that punt, and the guy ran out of bounds for like 40 yards, and they called him on that.
Yeah.
And just certain little things that happen, but that's football, you know. I mean, one play can change everything. But,
yeah, it really can. And I was sitting there with my buddy Deshaun. We always we had this little Cleveland Browns club. We go up and watch a game, and he's like, "Oh man," he's like, "We should have cooked that field goal. Why did we go for it? We should have. See, now we would have had 2 field goals, and now we'd be right." And turns out we didn't need it. We put 16 on the board in the fourth and shut them out, and that's all we needed.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, this team does feel different than the teams of the past, doesn't it? They don't seem. So what? Can you put your finger on what seems different?
It feels like they're an actual NFL team. They're actually competing with. New Orleans was one of the favorites to go to the Super Bowl this year. If they beat them, they hung with them. Baltimore is always good. Pittsburgh always gives us trouble. We hung with them. I mean, Tennessee's not the best team. We probably shouldn't have been that close with them, but it just feels like they're putting points up. Like, I remember years back, like, we're talking 6-3 Bills-Browns games that are just awful, you know? And it just, I feel like they're an actual, and they look like an NFL team. They don't look like the high school team they have for the last 20-so years, you know? So.
Do you think that's Mike Pettin, or do you think it's just the accumulation of talent over the past few years on the defensive line and the linebacker? Seriously, that defense is not performing the way that it should, but something is holding this team together. I mean, is it the offensive line?
Yeah, the offensive line's amazing. It could be that. It could be our running game. We have 3 great running backs. I think Ben Tate's averaging almost, 5.9 yards a carry. He had an amazing game. Those 2 rookies are, Terrence West is like a Ben Tate clone, and they got Isaiah Crow, who just pretty much run through anybody. So I think it's just, and the accumulation of talent, like you said, we have all these draft picks accumulated from
years of being terrible.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it was Heckard and Lombardi knew that this draft was going to be that good, and they saved up picks for it. And I guess
that's tricky because in the NFL it's win now, so you can never really build for the future. It's just kind of the reason why our economy sucks so bad. It's all based on quarterly profits, and everybody, they'll sell their mother down the river just so they can turn a profit this quarter. They're not investing in the future. Like, I'll be out of this job as CEO. I'll take my $15 million gold parachute. Screw the rest of y'all. I'm out of here. And when you're a GM trying to build a team, you look forward and you go, all right, we got to accumulate, but you keep pushing it down the road too far, and then you're like, you're never good today, you're always good tomorrow. It's like Joe's Crab Shack, the sign on it says free crab tomorrow, and then you come back tomorrow and it says free crab tomorrow. There's never today. So I mean, that is tricky trying to build your team the right way, and you're absolutely right. Ben Tate with 5.9 yards a rush so far. Crowell is looking all right, and I think he even jumped Terrence West on the depth chart. Is that what happened?
It looked like it. I think what it is I was saying, I think Ben Tate and Terrence West are the same kind of runner. So I
they
think
want
the hot hand
Crow.
there,
The Crow is a change of pace back.
Yeah, I think he's more north-south power, beastly back, is whereas Ben Tate and Terrence West are a little more shifty. And I think Ben Tate has better hands out of all 3 of them. So.
Well,
I feel like that's why.
I think maybe we stumbled on something here. I mean, it's no surprise. I'm not going to try to say that I just discovered the lost ark of the covenant. Like hooray, wow. But think about what the Browns' strength is and why is this team so competitive. I mean, who did we have Joe Thomas, and he's been the best left tackle in the league for God knows how long. Alex Mack, thankfully we eventually re-signed him. We went out and drafted Joel Bitonio. When people were saying, "Hey, let's take Carlos Hyde," let's get this, let's get that. It's like we got Joel Bitonio.
Yep.
And the guards are playing okay, and it's like if Hoyer is competent to good and made a couple great plays this last game without Josh Gordon, with an injured Ben Tate, with an injured Jordan Cameron, and we're putting points on the board. I mean, and we don't know a single receiver's name.
Yeah.
I'd say that offensive line is probably the thing, since the defense isn't really putting it together. It's probably that offensive line that's making us feel like a real football team.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I mean, I think a lot of the play calling too. I know Kyle Shanahan, especially for his Washington days, is big on the play action, and the fact that we're running the ball so well is, I mean, if you notice that the big power play actions that they do, it's crazy how much time Hoyer has back there.
Oh yeah,
and I think it's really working. So I would give it some of the play calling. I know a lot of people don't like Kyle Shanahan, and he does some things weird, but if it works, he's doing better than his defensive coordinator. I'll tell you that much. So.
Yeah, and that's the weirdest damn thing. Expecting that's going to be your strength, and then it's your Achilles heel. You're like, what the?
Yeah, that's what Pedden should be known. That's what Pedden's known for. And I think the guy's name, I want to say, is it Jim O'Neill? Does that sound right? The defensive coordinator.
No, I'd have to double check. To be honest with you.
Ed O'Neill, somebody, I don't know, but yeah, I think Ed O'Neill's from their children.
Hey, Peg. I actually met him at an event. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's only a few people like Sideshow Bob. When I met Kelsey Grammer, I'm like, gotta tell you, Sideshow Bob, great character. It's like, I had a lot of fun playing that. Anyway, yeah, but Ed O'Neill.
So I've done nothing else.
No, I want to talk real quick about the upcoming games for the Browns. They got the Steelers. This is a redemption game. This really is 3-2 Steelers, 2-2 Browns. I mean, if you look at the schedule and what's going on here, Cincinnati's in first place at 3-1, Baltimore 3-2, Pittsburgh 3-2, Cleveland 2-2. So, I mean, if we beat Pittsburgh, we're 3-2, and then they're 3-3. We got a leg up on them. Then we get another bout with Baltimore. And then we get to play, Cincy down the road. But in the meantime, we're going to get to practice on the Jaguars, practice on the Raiders. I mean, the Steelers are a beatable team. Jaguars and Raiders. I mean, do you see us possibly going on a run here, on a winning streak?
Well, you forgot one, too. We got Tampa Bay as well, who's not the best team ever.
Well, I didn't forget them. I just didn't get to them yet, because that would be the fourth
I
game.
apologize. I'm jumping the gun here. Obviously, we can beat Pittsburgh. I know Roethlisberger's like 18-1 against us, but I mean,
that
it's
is
always
so
close.
disgusting. Oh, that is so disgusting.
Well, Flacco's the same way. I think he's like 12-1 or something crazy like that.
Well, but when you're the Browns, I guess everybody has that record against you for the most part.
Yeah, I think so too.
All things considered.
Yeah. I think the Houston Oilers still have that record.
Houston.
But yeah, I mean, the schedule's favorable. I didn't see who all the other division opponents are playing. But yeah, like you said, if we could beat Pittsburgh, we possibly could be 6-2. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here, but
I mean, Pittsburgh came down to one play, and God, that long pass play setting up that freaking field goal, son of But yeah, get past Pittsburgh, then it's Jacksonville, Oakland, and Tampa Bay. Yeah, that is you're looking at a team that could be 6-2 at the midway mark of the season.
I mean,
I always project that the Browns are going to be undefeated and win the Super Bowl. So I'm obviously wrong so far this year. But yeah, 6-2, 5-3. It's then it gets a little tougher. Houston's playing pretty well. Atlanta, Buffalo, Indy, Cincinnati again, Carolina, Baltimore. But then again, it's the NFL. You're going to have a lot of decent teams. So
right.
it was just like the Indians. You got to beat up. I'm talking about like the mid-'90s, late '90s Indians. You got to beat up on the bums, and try to split with the great teams. Beat up on the bums.
Well, I mean, that's been the problems too in Browns past. Like last year, we lost to Jacksonville. I mean, you shouldn't lose games like that. I feel like we play Jacksonville, Oakland, and Buffalo every year. We're all in the
do you know why?
The last place teams. Because they're all last place teams.
And that's how it was like maybe only 3 years ago that somebody told Brandon, my buddy, told me that's how they do their schedule. Of course, you get a different division every year that's outside of your division, so you play everybody there. But yeah, if you're the first place team, you're going to play the other first place teams in those divisions that you play. And if you're the last place team, you play those last place teams. And it's like,
Correct.
so it's more competitive across the board, and you can get some more of those marquee matchups, the Aaron Rodgers versus, whoever, picking Tom Brady or something, even though they're a little off this year. But, yeah, it does seem like we play those teams every year. I long for the days where we're done playing Jacksonville, Oakland, and Tampa. That would be fantastic in my book.
And Buffalo.
Yes, but Buffalo's doing okay this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes, man. I'm really excited for this season. Of course, it was miserable. I was totally hoarse. I lost my voice at that Ravens game. It was crushing. It was like I could. It was like a slow motion train wreck. I had like a checklist of 18 horrible things that could happen to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, and it was like, oh God, check. Oh no, they just check. Oh, pass check. Oh, son of a check. It was just a slow motion car crash. It was terrible. But it really lifted my spirits yesterday watching them battle Tennessee. Really starting off on the wrong foot, but got it together toward the end. So I guess moving forward the rest of this season then, and maybe we could bounce from the Browns unless you have a little bit more to add. Like what kind of keys to the season are you looking for? Obviously, Josh Gordon coming back against Atlanta. That'll be a huge boost for the team, going down the stretch. But other than that, like what are you looking forward to seeing this team develop, or improve upon the rest of this year?
Well, the key is to stay. Definitely keep all our running backs healthy. Definitely keep Brian Hoyer healthy. And when we're playing these lesser teams, let's get work on this defense that's not been working out. I mean, what's Oakland going to do? Throw Derek Carr? I don't know who Oakland's quarterback is. I mean, Derek Carr's hurt. I can't even name him now. I mean, just like we did to Charlie Whitehurst. Like, he had one long pass, but that defense looked good after that. So I think it's just working your defense back together and just staying healthy. Because, one play could change everything. Manziel could be in there like that, As we saw last year, Hoyer get hurt. Just sliding. So
yeah.
I think it's just keeping healthy and beating the teams that we should beat. So maybe splitting the division for once in our lifetimes.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? Since the days of Vinny Testaverde once, Kelly Holcomb once, and Bernie Kosar way back in the day. Yeah, we have
Mike Pagel. Who knows?
Mike Pagel. Well, I mean, this really is the Cardiac Kids again. Every game is coming down to the last second, last play, a field goal at best. So. It's exciting, if nothing else. And talking about exciting, I don't know if you want to jump out, maybe talk about the Buckeyes or talk about the Cavs. But, I mean, really, the center of the sports world is going to be on Cleveland for this NBA season. There's no doubt about it. And it kind of feels right seeing LeBron in a Cavs jersey again. I was kind of weirded out by it for a little bit, but watching the game on Sunday, yesterday, just checking it out, I just went, okay. It was almost like he had never left, and this is the way it was supposed to be. Like a bad dream was over.
Well, I know you mentioned that the Cavs looked like the Globetrotters, so does that mean that the the other team, the Tel Aviv team, was the Washington Generals? Is that what you're saying? Or?
Yeah, something like that. I think we beat them about 30 points.
It was rigged from the get-go.
Of course.
No, I didn't actually catch in the game, but I did hear that they looked good. LeBron didn't play. He only played the first half, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, why would you play him any more than you need to? But
well, I did hear he was icing his knees and back on the bench, so I don't know if that's something to be concerned about, or maybe he just was sore. I heard he was having back problems. That's why he wasn't practicing one day.
Yeah, I think the quote they gave was that his back was iffy. His back was iffy.
Medical term, iffy. Uh-huh.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Dr. Nick. But
yeah, it says James, who rested his iffy back as a precaution, sensed how much the game meant to Coach Blatt. They're already talking about resting LeBron James more this season. Yeah, I just hope we don't have a broken down LeBron James at this point. You know, like I'm starting to see warning signs. I'm like, oh God, no, 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 no. Please leave something in the tank. Don't
Well,
return.
we are Cleveland, and it is the unhappy hour, so who knows?
Oh
But
Lord Almighty.
I don't know. I hope not. Yeah, the Cavs. I'm excited. It's. I remember 4 years ago. Like we're both out of market. So are you. We don't see the Cavs often, but when LeBron's there, we see like 60 games a year on national TV.
Yeah, of
amazing.
course.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, last year we saw him once, I think, when they played Miami. So.
Yeah, in this post, it's interesting. It says, before tip-off, several dozen protesters, many of them waving Palestine flags, gathered outside Quicken Loans Arena to object to the Israeli team's visit, holding signs that read, "Hold Israel accountable" and "Boycott Israel." The protesters peacefully chanted behind barricades set up across the street from the downtown arena. Cleveland police, including several on mounted horseback, kept a watchful eye as fans made their way into the building. And the quote here at the top of the page says, "Do not associate sports with political matters, please." No, I like doing this. That's what we do here on the Unhappy Hour. Any chance I get to work in some geopolitics, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Exactly. Maybe I shouldn't have made that Washington Generals joke. Might have protesters outside my house now. But
did you see the South Park with the Washington Redskins?
yes, I did. That was great.
I'm gluten free. My brother just went gluten free, and it's so funny. I'm like, Chris, you've got to watch this thing. Oh, doesn't he look so much better? No, he actually looks exactly the same. Stop talking about it. Oh, if I hear that gluten-free one more time. Anyway, yeah. What do you make of the Washington Redskins, by the way? About the team name.
Well, it's odd because I feel like they're the only team really being picked on. I know. I mean, they mentioned the Indians. The Indians have kind of gone to the Black Sea now and not have Chief Wahoo anymore. But it doesn't seem be as controversial as the Redskins. Like, what about the Chiefs or the Braves or any other team?
The Blackhawks.
The Blackhawks, exactly. You know? So
I got one even better that nobody ever mentions, and I'm taking credit for this because I never hear anyone mention this when we talk about the Washington football team, says Keith Olbermann. Jerk off.
Yeah, or yeah, exactly.
Listen, Keith Olbermann is horrible in politics, and he's a great sportscaster. His new show it's just excellent. It's just excellent sports stuff. But yeah, his political stuff just is fingernails on a blackboard. I can't stand the guy's politics, but I respect the hell out of him as a sports broadcaster. He's very funny, he's very quick, he's very sharp. That being said, nobody talks about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Oh.
Why does nobody bring up the Notre Dame Fighting Irish? Hey, everyone that's an Irishman, they're drunken bastards. All they do is fight. Why does nobody talk about that? That is way more offensive than Redskins.
That's an excellent question. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know. I don't.
You know, you don't have a team. You don't have like a professional baseball team called like the Youngstown White Trash or something like that. Like you could never get away with doing that. And I just picked a random city. It could have easily been Toledo. All right, probably it would have been Dayton. But anyway, no, I'm totally kidding. Now I'm alienating my whole audience. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, take that, Copley.
Wadsworth. No, but
LaGrange.
LaGrange. No, but nobody talks about the Fighting Irish. That is a really bad nickname.
Yeah, it is actually. If you think about it.
I do think about it all the time. Every time I hear Redskins, oh, that is so degrading. I'm like, when I think of Redskins, you know what I think of? I think of a stoic-looking Indian chief. That's what I think of.
Yeah.
I don't think of, and of course, Chief Wahoo. I mean, our team name is just the Indians, and of course, India is what Christopher Columbus and those idiots thought that they had landed on. Oh, these are Indians. No, they aren't Indians, you idiot. They're Native Americans, like me. No, they're American Indians.
Native Americans.
Like me. Remember that Simpsons where it was Apu, a Proposition 25 or something to kick out the illegal immigrants?
Oh yeah.
Did I just bust you on that? They're Native Americans, like me. No, Native American Indians, like me. Never mind. Anyway, I digress. No, but I don't know. I don't see a problem with the Redskins. I don't.
I don't either. I I'm the person that I think everyone takes everything way too seriously anyway. So I don't know. Like, shouldn't like the aviation community be pissed off at the New York or the Jets? I mean, I don't know. Come on.
The aviation community.
They have a big following, especially in Copley. But I no, I don't.
Okay, I got another one for you, because that one's a little bit played out. This one just happened yesterday. What do you make of the Jacksonville Jaguars mascot? Did you happen to see what he did yesterday?
I did.
Okay,
I think it's hilarious.
For the people that didn't see it, they played the Esberg Steelers, and they're making fun of the terrible towels, and Jackson DeVille held up a handwritten sign in the fourth quarter that reads, "Towels carry Ebola," while carrying a yellow terrible towel in his right hand. I
thought it was genius, but
I think it's hilarious. Of course, Ebola's not hilarious, and the Steelers aren't hilarious. But, yes, the soiled linens of victims, like this idiot that came over in Dallas with Ebola, and then the family's there, nobody's cleaning it up, and then the family's walking around like, oh, I'm going to go to the grocery store. But yeah, the infected clothing, and that like towels do carry Ebola. Like that is a thing that happens. And
I think he was making it a fact. I don't think it just happened to be that Pittsburgh was there. I think he was just saying towels do carry Ebola. So I don't.
You know what they left off here? The mascot is JAXSONDEVILLE. They left off doctor. Dr. Jackson DeVille held a handwritten sign trying to warn the residents to be careful for Ebola.
Yeah, he's working hard for Ebola vaccine. Dr. Jackson DeVille. Sounds like a porn star.
It does. It does. Or a member of, like, Poison. Oh, that'd be Cece. My bad.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was hilarious. Towels carry Ebola. And it's just like everybody wants to get so bent out of shape over everything. Mm-hmm. You know, if you watch Ray Rice knocking out his fiance and her head hitting that handrail and snapping back, she could have broke her neck. She could have had permanent brain damage. She could have been freaking killed. That was disgusting. We can actually get outraged about that. I'm okay with that. But seriously, Washington Redskins, towels carry Ebola. I don't know. People just want to be outraged about everything these days, and it just doesn't seem. Irish. Okay, that's my cause. My cause. That doesn't have to be everybody's. But I mean, does it seem like in sports now, for me at least, more so this year than any other year, people are just trying to turn everything into this huge up in arms. You know, it's the first take crew. You know, just everybody has to be up in arms. Stephen A. Smith and what's his nuts?
Skip.
Bayless. I want to call him Jake Locker. Yes, Skip Bayless. Had a moment right there. But yeah, I mean, it's like everything is so serious. And Bill Simmons gets suspended from ESPN by saying it's effing BS to think that Roger Goodell didn't have those tapes and didn't view the tape. Oh, Bill Simmons, you're suspended. What's the guy from Miami, Lebitard? He takes out a sign, says, "You're welcome for the rings, LeBron." ESPN suspends him. I mean, what do you make of all this censorship in sports and about everything needing to be a fiasco these days?
It just goes in cycles. Like, it's amazing how just one bad thing happens, and especially the Ray Rice, everyone wants to be politically correct now. Like, I think there's a new woman's show on CBS Sportsline called We Need to Talk, and it's got like Leslie Visser, and they talk about domestic violence. I mean, is that really necessary? Like, we know what domestic violence is, and I don't know. I think everything is just, as we just talking about the Redskins, that's not as serious as Ray Rice, obviously. But Ray Rice, that's a bad situation right there. But with Lebitard and Bill Simmons, I mean, that's what they get paid to do, to share their opinions.
Yeah.
And like we're doing right now. And, I mean, Lebitard, that was a joke. That was a little too far to suspend him. But I guess maybe Bill Simmons' contract, he's not supposed to do that. But and the Ray Rice thing, I know, I mean, it's been months now, but suspending him for 2 games. I mean, if anybody should be suspended, it should be Goodell. So.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, it's played out now, but like there was that meme, I forget who it was at the time, maybe Redskins, Kansas City, game. Somebody had an illegal hit or like hitting a defenseless receiver, got suspended for 2 games. Ray Rice hits his wife, gets suspended for 2 games. Josh Gordon hits a joint, suspended for a season.
Yeah,
You know, it's like,
it's just
give me a break.
I mean, not to really change the subject here, but the whole marijuana thing, like, I don't get it. Like, it's not performance enhancing. It's not gonna.
It's anti-performance enhancing.
Exactly. So what's the big deal? I understand, the NFL, as they call it, the no fun league. Like, you get fined $10,000 for wearing the wrong pair of socks. But I mean, I don't know. I don't where they're going with the marijuana thing. Obviously, it's been changed now, and I guess you can do ecstasy too.
Marijuana did not used to be marijuana. Yeah, Welker and Matt Prater. Like there are so many I think there were like 30 or 40 players under suspension to start the season. It was just this insane number. And of course, fantasy owners were just like, "What the heck am I doing?" Of course, I got Josh Gordon, but Lord Almighty, if I can't win a game, Percy Harvin's 3 touchdowns getting called back today from the refs. Thank you much, refs. It's going to do me no good to have Josh Gordon at the end of the season if I can't win a few to get to the playoffs. No, but I mean, the whole marijuana thing, it did not used to be an illegal drug. I mean, cough syrup used to have cocaine in it. You look back at stuff, and it's like, prohibition doesn't work. Look at the 20s. Look at Al Capone. Look at all those gangsters and the Kennedy family and the bootleggers, the rum runners, and what eventually created NASCAR from everybody trying to soup up their cars so they're faster than the cops. Like, it's just ridiculous that marijuana is a thing that you could be damaged for, where you can't make your paycheck. I mean, you're a pro athlete, and then you buy a house and you buy a car and you have bills, and all of a sudden you have no money coming in. Hell, Josh Gordon was working as a used car salesman before they changed the policy to let him practice with the team again. And, I mean, that's the last thing you want to do with somebody if they're going through a couple of issues and can't seem to get their head on straight. You don't cut them off from their team. You got to get them closer to the team and the captains and the coaches to whip them into shape.
Exactly. I mean, especially like a lot of these kids too. That's all they know is football, and when they're away from it is when they get in trouble. So I mean, at least with Josh Gordon the exempt list, they can still get paid like Adrian Peterson is. That's another joke right there. That whole commissioner's exempt list.
Yeah, explain that.
They can't play, but they still get paid. Like, how do I get on the exempt list for my job? I'll do that.
Sign me up. I am exempt from working, sir. You can take this job and file it. What is that?
You're suspended with pay. No. So.
No. Shaking my fist in the air.
Yeah. Shake my fist at cloud. But
angry old man shakes fist at cloud. Oh, now the Simpsons. Did you happen to catch every Simpsons episode ever? Did you catch any of that?
Yeah, I put a couple on DVR. And I believe they're coming on FX Now on demand next month.
Oh, on demand.
I think you can access all of them. That's what I saw.
Holy season 3, 4, and 5.
I recorded. Let's see, about some of my favorites. Homer Goes to College.
I caught that one live as it was happening. I just stopped what I was doing, sat down. I was like, It's one of the best episodes ever. Conan O'Brien.
Itchy and Scratchy Land is one of my favorites. The whole we're out of Bort license plates. So.
Repeat, we are out of Bort license plates.
Come here, Bort. Are you talking to me? No, my son is also named Bort.
Yeah, by the way, for you guys that don't know, Greg and I are 2 of the biggest Simpsons fans, at least the first 10 seasons. 2 of the biggest Simpsons fans that you'll find around out there. And I think a lot of our high school career, wasting countless hours doing countless quasi-legal things over the last 2 years of junior and seniordom, just definitely revolved around constant Simpsons joke after Simpsons joke.
Yeah, we could probably do another whole other show on Simpsons quote, but we'll save that for another time.
Yeah, we will save that for another time. But all right, bouncing off of all of these other subjects we just went into, you have any thoughts on the college football season this year with the Buckeyes?
I'm excited for the playoffs.
Playoffs.
Really playoffs.
Do you know what I keep referencing? Because I keep throwing this out there. I keep doing the playoffs. Yeah, hang on. What is it? I gotta type it in. And what was his name? Oh yeah.
Jim.
Yeah, Jim Mora. Okay, here. This is practice versus playoffs. Ready? Oh, this is a long one. Which one is the one that's the best one? Well, here, let's just click one, see what happens. Here we go. Oh, that's compelling. 13 seconds. And here we go.
Well, I'll start off by saying this. Do not blame that game on the defense, okay?
I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice. Not a game. Not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game.
I don't care who you play, whether it's a high school team, a junior college team, a college team. When you turn the ball over 5 times, 4 interceptions.
We talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that, man? We're talking about practice. I know I'm supposed to be there. I know I'm supposed to lead by example. I know that.
What's that?
And I'm not shoving it aside, you know, like it don't mean anything. I know it's important. I do. I honestly do. But we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about?
Playoffs?
Practice?
Playoffs?
Practice?
Playoffs?
Practice?
Playoffs?
We're talking about practice, man.
Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
We're talking about practice, man.
Playoffs?
Practice?
So stupid.
Playoffs?
Practice?
I can listen to this all day.
Playoffs?
We're talking about practice, man.
I just hope we can win a game.
We ain't talking about the game.
I don't care who you...
All right, anyway, it goes on and on. But that's seriously one of my favorite things in life. I digress.
I didn't know you were Allen Iverson in there.
Yeah, we're talking about practice, man. Practice. Not a game. Not a game. Talking about practice, man. Playoffs. Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Anyway, but yeah, you were talking about the playoffs in college football before I went on that bizarre 7-minute rant. Go ahead.
Yeah, sweet tangent. I forgot, like I lost track. No, I mean, if people say Ohio State's out, who knows? I feel like the Big Ten is overrated. I believe it is because, trust me, I love watching Michigan lose to Rutgers and Utah and, I don't know, their practice team. But
Practice, man. Talking about practice. Sorry.
yeah, if we could beat Michigan State and win out, I think we still have a chance to be in that playoff. I mean, after that, who knows?
Playoffs?
I think.
Okay, seriously, I'm done.
No, you're good. Florida State's team to beat. Alabama went down. Oregon went down. I don't know. I don't think Mississippi State's for real, but we'll see.
You're looking at 7 undefeated. Okay, it's 8 undefeated teams. You got Georgia Tech sitting at 22. You got TCU. Okay, I don't know if I did the math right. TCU, Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, the most offensive team in all of sports. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Fighting Irish.
I'm half Irish. I don't find that offensive.
Baylor, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Auburn, and Florida State. Yeah, Florida State dodged that bullet. I wonder if that was their one opportunity to get a loss there.
Clemson?
Yeah, yeah, a couple
Jameson
weeks.
play?
Yeah, that was the one that they really could have stumbled and fell with that one. But yeah, I mean, Michigan State's 4-1. Seriously, who else is in there from the Big Ten? Nebraska's 5-1. I mean, are they for real?
Didn't they just lost to Michigan State, right? Yes. I think they lost this week.
Yeah,
I
27-22.
I mean,
held off a furious rally.
I could see. I wouldn't be surprised if they put 3 SEC teams in there again. Again, for the first time, but yeah.
Once again for the first one ever.
Once again for the first time ever.
Are you happy with the playoffs?
Yes. I think the BCS was a joke.
I'm so happy.
There's no formula that in the world that I don't think anyone knew what that was. I don't know who put that together. It was awful, and it worked out in Ohio State's favor just because they were in the Big Ten. They were one of the Big 5 power conferences.
See, I don't know that or that the Big Ten is overrated, because I think they are very looked down upon and have been with all of the national championship losses. You know, to Florida, Go down the line. The LSU, Les Miles. And seeing Michigan really off this year, it's always better for the like they say, it's better for the NBA when the Lakers, the Knicks, and the Celtics are good. I don't know. Maybe screw them. I could give a flying crap about the Celtics and Lakers and Knicks. Just go. They're a big market team. I don't care. If all you want are the same 4 teams to go, once again, it's like the Globetrotters. Just put your super team together and. You got to have parity in the leagues, or else why even watch? Why root? Why care? As far as I'm concerned, but I don't know if the Big Ten's overrated, because I think a lot of people are just dissing on the Big Ten, just thinking there's not a lot of talent. They never hold up against the SEC. I think they're adequately rated, and that's why you'll see see Ohio State at 4-1 all the way tucked down at 15 instead of being up there with Alabama at number 7 at 4-1.
Well, I think it's getting to that point now. I think before they were overrated, like 3 or 4 years ago, when Ohio State could do no wrong. It's like they were number 2 no matter what until they would lose. I think you hit it right on the point. Right on the point there is that I believe it was overrated, but it's not anymore. I think those couple championship losses just show that, I guess football in the South is just more dominant than it is. It's a different style of play too, but I think you're right. They're rated correctly.
Correctly rated. Final.
Correctly rated.
But you got to rebuild it. And I'm sorry. What brilliant mind goes ahead and puts the Big Ten with how many teams do we have now? 18 or 16 or something stupid. They're trying to go for 20, but they're not quite there. And their logo's stupid because it's like IG is like a big. It's like a 10, but it's not. It's like. Guys, can't you do math at least? A Big Ten is called 20, but to get 20, you need 2 10s, not a 10 and...
Yeah, it's a really big 10. It equals 20. It's like a venti at Starbucks or something, yeah.
Yes, I'll take my conference venti style. No, I mean, the Buckeyes are putting up a lot of points this year. I was at the Kent State game. It was on that Ohio trip where I went to the Buckeyes Kent State game, 66-0 rout. Of course, that made sense. That Virginia Tech loss, I mean...
Ooh.
To revisit that real quick, I mean, were you surprised watching that? It was like we could do nothing right in that game. I don't know if that's the anomaly, or we got lucky against Maryland, or Maryland's no good, or, I'm trying to make sense of this team, but the only ranked team that we play is in November against Michigan State, who's number 8 right now. Everybody else is a bunch of powder puffs.
Mm-hmm. I think the thing that more surprised me, I want to say that was J.T. Barrett's second game, Virginia Tech. Yes, they played Navy first, so I think he was still trying to figure stuff out. I think the more surprising thing was that Virginia Tech lost to East Carolina the next week. That was disappointing.
That hurt our cause big time, because it's not like Virginia Tech, it's a 4-2 team.
Mm-hmm. I think another really bad loss right after East Carolina.
Georgia Tech. East Carolina and Georgia Tech. Yeah, they lost by 3 in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one thing to lose to a badass team; it's another to lose to a eh. So I don't know. I mean, if we can win out, and it's certainly possible that the Buckeyes can win out, we might be knocking. Because that's the thing; we don't have to get to number 2 anymore. If we can just get to 4, if a couple other teams can get upset, or what if you have everybody in the league with 1 loss? Wouldn't that be something? And you're like, no, the playoffs should be 8 teams. Oh, this is the worst system ever.
Yeah, it should be all 128.
Yeah, I mean, you might never get it right, but I love the playoffs. I love the fact that they're finally going for it. And J.T. Barrett, he looks okay right now. He looks pretty good. It's just a shame what happened to Braxton Miller in the beginning of the season. They're saying he's coming back next year, though. And
that's what they're saying. I don't know. I've heard people saying he's going to transfer now because J.T. Barrett, whatever.
No, he's not.
But,
come on. It's his job to come back and take. Nobody's gonna. And so what? Then you bring J.T. Barrett back as a junior, who's been a starter. Then he sat behind a Heisman candidate, and then he comes back as a junior. Like, holy crap, this J.T. Barrett kid is amazing.
I agree, and I always like Ohio State, especially Urban Meyer, because he recruits not just Ohio. I feel like Jim Tressel was always recruiting out of your favorite place, Youngstown, but.
I got nothing but love for my peeps in Youngstown. All right, nothing but love.
Yeah, There goes all my Youngstown followers at Greg time.
All right,
But,
all right. I'm gonna take it out of Ohio. Let's call it the Talladega white trash, or the Western Kentucky white trash. I don't know, whatever. Man, I'm offending everybody, huh?
I love you, Copley. But yeah, but no, every my recruits out of the South too. Florida kids, Texas kids, and it's great. Whereas before I felt like it was just Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania. So I got that going for us. But like I said, I don't know, the Big Ten is down right now, so we'll see.
Yeah, we will. But that's the beauty of sports, man. That's the beauty of sports. Every week you get another chance to put it together. You get to set right what once went wrong, and someday return. What was that, Quantum Leap? Yes, yeah. It was Quantum Leap. Someone put on Twitter. I'll ask you that question. Greg, what's a TV show, or at least one TV show that you'd like to see brought back?
Brought back?
Yeah. They put, what did they put on there? They put My So-Called Life, and what was the other one? I forget. And I just said Quantum Leap. I was like, yeah, I'd like to see.
Quantum, yes.
Love
yes.
Quantum Leap.
Married with Children. Or, what was the other one that I was just... Oh, Saved by the Bell.
Not the college years, though.
No, like right now. That they should, like, Saved by the Bell 20 years later.
Wait, awesome. They'd be 30 years old, 35 years old, or?
Yes.
What would they be doing? Why are they still in the same town? So many storylines.
Mr. Belding's still there, I think.
Did I ever tell you I met Mr. Belding?
You did. Yeah. I believe he may follow me on Twitter, or he needs to. Come on.
One or the other. Either he's following me, or damn it, follow me on Twitter.
He needs to now.
No,
we'll talk Saved by the Bell plot lines 35 years later.
Man, you know what? He's made a whole career doing that stuff. But anyhow, I think that's all we got for now. You know, I'd be more than happy to bring you back, talk some more Browns. Like that's originally the intent of what we're trying to do here is get to talking Browns, especially after the wins, and have a good time and kind of break down what went right, what didn't, what we got to improve on, and kind of prognosticate looking forward. So, like I said, Greg has been trying to get on this show, and I've been trying to get Greg on this show for about 3 years now. And tonight was episode number 1 of perhaps more than one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us.
MOORE, more than one.
Yeah. Give out all your information. Where can people find you and stay in touch?
You can just follow me on Twitter at GregTime. That's the easiest way. I'm on Facebook too, but don't go there.
Well, don't go there.
Don't go there.
Yeah. So follow him. What's that?
That's it. That's all I got.
Okay, Greg Time on Twitter at Greg Time. Buddy, I appreciate you. I know it's up a little past your bedtime over there on the East Coast, so thanks a lot, and go Browns, man.
That's right, man. Go Browns.
All right, we'll talk soon. Appreciate your time. For everybody out there, I appreciate your time. Check us out, our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com. Search on Facebook, The New American Media, with spaces in between. On Twitter, we're at American_media_, and go to youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia and subscribe to our page. I'm going to do another episode right now. I'm going to do an episode of Agree to Disagree, and I want to talk about prepping and why everybody needs to be a prepper. I lost my power for over 12 hours, and you start wondering about throwing out your food in your fridge, batteries, backups, lights. So that's coming up next here at The New American Media.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.